today is Yoga for Optimism. So we just had a really nice conversation here before class, just really talking about, sometimes things happen in life, things happen for all of us, and sometimes it can be really challenging to be optimistic or to see kind of the bright side of things. That being said, we all know, the power of thinking positive, the power of really finding the good in things. There's some studies that even show that optimistic people are actually healthier. They tend to attract, stronger partners in their life, stronger friendships in their life, things like that. Where pessimistic people literally tend to have, higher disease in their body and tend to have more health issues and things like that, and sometimes will struggle with different things. So it can actually affect our body the way that our mind works, right? And, the mind is very powerful. The way that we think can really affect our reality. It can affect our mind, body, and spirit. So, it's really a fine balance. I think that it's one of those things where it's really important that on a daily basis we create habits that create optimism. So one thing, we talk about a lot in this class, you guys, is the power of gratitude, right? So gratitude, I've really always found that gratitude is the bridge from pessimism to optimism. You'll probably hear me say that a lot in these videos, in yoga videos, and in just certain True Beauty quick tips. So without going into too much depth here, if you're new to my channel, my name is Heather, and I'm the founder of True Beauty Movement, and here it's all about empowering women from the inside out through yoga, essential oil, beauty, and lifestyle tips. And this is what we do. We basically practice yoga, work with essential oils, and really work on some things that we're moving through, and we do it together. So welcome. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, definitely hit that subscribe button and be sure to follow me. We'll have all the details below for you. So today, you guys, we're going to focus on 2 doTERRA oils, and these are 2 that I basically go through all the time. They're so versatile, and that's what I like about them. But as I was actually researching some things for this class, I didn't even know this, and I found out that sandalwood actually helps to increase optimism in our body. And I thought that was really interesting. And so Serenity oil, which is one of my favorite oils, I talk about this oil all the time. This I literally almost order, I would say, every month or every other month. It's like a perfume for me. It is the Restful blend, and it has Hawaiian sandalwood in it. So I thought, how perfect for optimism. Another part with optimism is sometimes when things are not going exactly our way, is having the courage to really see the other perspective, right? Or having the courage really to see past what's going on and really see the bigger picture, even if it's really not that easy to do in the moment. Again, we can all kind of relate to this. I know I definitely can, based on some things that have been recently going on. And I know that a lot of people, like I said in this class, people I've been talking to, they can definitely relate to that as well. So when you need to have that courage and you're really looking for that inner strength, within yourself, you're really needing to kind of just sort of get yourself back in a groove, but you're really in a reflective mode. Bergamot's going to be really good for that. That helps with courage and also self-confidence. So think of, any type of self-confidence, bergamot's your BFF. So tonight what we're going to do, you guys, we're going to mix Serenity oil with bergamot. So think of your yellow chakra, okay, and then also the highest version of yourself. That's that ability to see past whatever's going on and really look at the silver lining. And if you practice looking at the silver lining on a daily basis, not only do you have to challenge yourself to then do that if something maybe is not going quite your way, but you start to create that as a habit because the body craves what you give it, right? So every day you're going to start to think of your gratitude and your optimism. You're going to start to create, more health in your life, more vitality, better relationships. It's just going to become this ripple effect, creating more happiness, really optimism in your life, okay? So that's one of the inspirations for today's class. So we are going to go ahead and pass it around. I'm going to do just a couple of drops of each one. Not too much because they're pretty strong oils together. This is it's a nice blend. And you can put this on the bottom of the feet, you guys. Remember the power of the bottom of the feet? I would highly recommend it. So if you're ever feeling like you're trying to kind of look at the silver lining of something and you're maybe having a hard time with that, definitely bottom of the feet is the way to go. So I'm going to take here like 2 drops bergamot, and then about 2 drops Serenity, okay? And blend it here. So we don't have peppermint or anything there, so it's not going to hurt your eyes, but you want to avoid the eye area. And literally just kind of blend it here. If you really want to focus kind of more on the big toe, sometimes it can feel kind of silly, but if your big toe actually represents for reflexology your head, so it's really good for like if you are prone to headaches and things like that, but also because we want to really kind of affect our mental state, our emotional state, we want to focus on more the big toe, then you can still kind of blend all over. That's a little crash course there. a little reflexology. And then any remaining amount, you can start to just place it on the back of the neck. Start to close the eyes. You can just start to kind of massage the shoulders. And you can just cup the hands over the nose, the wrists, wherever you put the oils. Deep inhale. Beautiful, deep, slow exhale. As we exhale, we're just going to start to very slowly start to tilt the tailbone. And just start to allow ourselves to slow down. So if you do have your hands cupped over the nose or the wrists up to the nose, just take a few breaths here. Beautiful, you guys. Just allow yourself to be more present. We're going to slowly bring our hands together in prayer position. And I just want the elbows to be really relaxed tonight. So again, just if you're kind of having anything that's going on in your life and you're trying to find the silver lining or the optimism there, just really allow yourself to nurture yourself a little bit here. Give yourself a little bit of a break. So we're just going to have the elbows just kind of down by the side. Just have them tucked in nice and tight, though, into sort of the rib cage area. And just slowly start to lower the chin down. So what we want to do is we're lowering the chin down so we can kind of smell the oils a little bit deep. Inhale as we start to lift the chin up. So opening up through our communication, through our optimism, also through our intuition. And exhale, lower down, so lowering the chin. And then as you inhale, slowly start to lift the chin up. Just lifting our spirits, lifting our state of mind. And just start to get into your yogi zone. Start to connect to your Zen place. And just take your time here as you lift the chin up. And deep Ujjayi breath when you're ready. So inhaling, lift. And exhale, reflect. Inhale, lift. And exhale, reflect. So I want you to think of anything that you're going through here. It doesn't matter how little or how big. Just something that might be a little bit more challenging. And this could be anything. So remember, physical, mental, social, spiritual, emotional. And just give yourself a break here just to release whatever that is that's on your mind. Again, just get lost with the breath. We're going to slowly keep the hands where they're at. We're just going to start to move the neck side to side. So the right ear towards that right shoulder. You might get little pops or cracks in there. And then the left ear to the left shoulder. And then we're just going to start to de-stress a little bit here. So starting to intertwine the fingers, start to reach up towards the sky. You might even get some little pops or cracks in the elbows and the wrists. And just start to open up through the upper back. So just connecting to the highest version of ourselves. Again, big picture of what's going on here. So if you have something very specific that you thought of, I want you to start to really just think beyond yourself here. So think beyond your own light, your connection to others, and just think of how this experience, whatever it is you're going through, how this can connect you to other people. So whatever it is, how it can maybe allow you to either relate to other people, connect to other people in a more authentic way. Maybe other people can assist or support. And just be open to that. So slowly start to release the fingertips, opening up the heart a little bit here. Notice if there's any upper back pain or mid back pain there. So if there is, we're going to try that again. I want you to really stretch that area. So we bring the hands just outside. Make sure you ground yourself a little bit here. Tilt the tailbone just a little bit. Engage the core this time. Bring the hands back to heart center. And inhale, lift. So reaching the hands up, lift the chin.
And really focus on stretching through the rib cage, so opening all through the heart. And exhale. Just release. Grounding the self here, and inhale when you're ready. Belly button to the spine. Lifting up. Tilt the tailbone. Beautiful, you guys. So here, we're going to take a moment for gratitude. So just find your rhythm here. Really find your flow as you go back and forth. And start to express your gratitude. So it might be challenging, especially if you are going through something, but try to find the silver lining, whatever it may be. It doesn't matter how small it is. And then start to see if you can connect whatever that silver lining is, whatever it may be, to your higher purpose, to your higher calling. Again, it doesn't matter what it is, the bigger picture of your life, or where you're headed. So remember here, if you're feeling kind of a lack of focus or anything like that, you really want to find your drishti within, or your focus. So this is where you want to say universe, or God, or higher self. Always fill in the blank, whatever you feel comfortable saying. I'm so happy and grateful for. And again, it can be a little challenging with something like this, so just really try to dig a little deeper and find that silver lining. Beautiful. So now that you found that, we're going to slowly start to stretch to the right. Just stretch it out. Just going to cave the shoulders just a little bit forward here. And then same thing, start to go back. Just open up through the heart and opposite side. So just start to move towards the left. Deep stretch, opening up. And then we're going to just start to do a little back bend here. So moving all the way back, little arch. Few deep inhales here, so energizing the body, energizing the spirit. So think of your bergamot oil here. We're really engaging the upper abdominal muscles as we kind of press the chest forward here and start to arch the back just a little bit. So this helps with that confidence, that optimism, making us feel full or fulfilled. So we're going to stay here, see if that feels comfortable for you. If it becomes uncomfortable at all, you can always just come out of it a little bit, you guys, about halfway. If you feel pretty good, stay with that nice arch here. So I'm going to turn to the side so you can see me okay. So we're still arching back, and we're going to bring our hands to prayer position, okay? So we're bringing our hands up towards the ceiling, and just start to open up a little bit more through the heart. Deep inhales as we set our intention. So whatever intention you want that has to do with this, that really moves into kind of where you're headed with this optimism. So start to think if there's any action that you need to take. Just allow yourself to be open here with the heart, this open. Also allow yourself if anything needs to come to you. The arms should be getting a little bit tired here. Take your time. If you have some energy, it's moving down towards the shoulders. Very nice, you guys. We're going to slowly start to just reflect here a little bit. So lower the chin. Now we want to have those elbows nice and lifted, parallel to the ground. Make sure we do tilt the tailbone a little bit here, guys. Just want to reflect and kind of just really support that low back. So here what we're going to do, let's go ahead and take our feet out just so they don't fall asleep or anything like that. And we're just going to allow ourselves just kind of hunch forward. I don't really do that a whole lot in yoga, but here we're going to just really stretch and protect that low back. Really important here. So that whenever we do something, we always want to do the opposite here to create that ebb and flow in the body. Okay, that's going to create a nice balance. So just start to stretch kind of over the knees, over the shins here. Just arch forward, belly back to the spine. So we're still engaging, think bergamot oil, we're still engaging that self-confidence here. And just start to stretch the shoulders, maybe even exaggerate that tilt of the tailbone. That's your foundation of who you are, your abundance, your kind of family life for those close to you. Beautiful, and very slowly just start to come up, come back to a little bit more of a neutral position here. And just make sure the body feels good, make sure the spine feels really nice. If you can move around at all or kind of move the shoulders forward or back. We're going to start to move onto all fours, okay? So once we're in table posture, I really want to start to tuck the toes at first, but have the rest of the body in table. So we have the pinkies to the very edge of the mat, okay? And then what we want to do, so remember here, this is really important, especially to protect the joints. If you have those hands really far forward like this, and the wrist is kind of like not right underneath the shoulder, that will really hurt your wrist long term and your joints. You're not supporting yourself here. So we really want to support ourselves by having the wrist directly below the elbows first and then below the shoulders, okay? So then we have the elbows and shoulders back, so towards the back of the room. A little micro bend is always good here. So when we micro bend, make sure that we don't micro bend where the elbows are moving outside here. We want to really make sure that we are micro bending so the elbows move towards the back of the room, okay? Little tilt of the tailbone. And then just slowly start to stretch back. Take your time. I would close your eyes here. And just allow yourself to completely just stretch it out. Whatever feels good. Again, closing your eyes, just letting yourself be in the moment. Start to sink into the shoulders, start to straighten the knees just a little bit here. And then just start to come up on those tippy toes a little bit. And we're going to slowly bring our left foot to the center of the mat, start to stack the hips here. So we have the right foot up towards the sky. And just stretch out, really emphasizing pressing through all four corners of the palm of your hand. And just pause. Allow this to be graceful. Just allow for stillness here. Start to press the shoulders to the back of the room and just be for a moment. Start to press back a little bit more through the hands. So notice the stillness. Sometimes when we need a little bit of optimism in our life, we need a little more stillness. So we're going to start to bring the right foot to the center, okay? And then opposite side. So bringing the left foot up towards the ceiling, deep stretch. So remember those shoulders here. We don't want to neglect that. So we have those shoulders to the back of the room. Nice and balanced. That can be kind of a challenge. Sometimes the left will want to go forward and the right will. So try to bring them nice and as kind of parallel as you can. As even as you possibly can. As balanced. And then stack the hips and just pause. Find your stillness. And exhale, lower the foot down. So now the feet are touching together, okay? So we have them nice and close. And just stretch back, stretch through the hips. Lower the chin towards the chest. So think of your chakras here. Think of that perfectly aligned spine. And exhale, we're sinking into the shoulders, press back a little more, nice and strong. Getting to some of those kind of uncomfortable areas. Again, if you have something that's going on, get a little uncomfortable, that's okay. We're going to start to walk to the front of the mat. We're going to bring the feet completely together as we're at the front of the mat, okay? So opening a little more through the hips here. And then just go ahead and let's give ourselves a little break. We're going to have our arms on the opposite elbows. So last week we had a lot more cardio on Tuesday and Thursday. So we're definitely going to still have some opening here, but we need some nourishing. Especially if we're working on that optimism. So just start to bring the weight to the front of the toes and towards the front of the mat. And just find your own inner balance, your own, kind of like your own inner equilibrium. So back and forth. See if you can challenge yourself here and close your eyes. If at any point you feel like you're going to fall over, of course you can open your eyes. You can find your drishti on your mat. Just one spot. But really challenge yourself. See if you can close your eyes, bring your chin towards the sternum as you go back and forth. Toes and heels. So a lot easier said than done. Find that balance. Challenge the body. But also challenge the mind here. And the emotions. So we're going to slowly start to just allow the hands to release here. We're going to widen the feet just a little bit. So you can mindful bend the knees just a little bit so you can make sure that we have some energy flowing. And then we're going to just slowly just start to kind of cup the left hand on top of the right. So it always reminds me of like a little yin-yang here, okay? And we're just going to stretch again. Just make sure that low back is really taken care of when we arch the back before. So we're just stretching left and right. This is awesome, by the way, you guys. If you do, or if you go to school and you sit at a desk right now like that, or you have a job and you sit at a desk, this can be great, or you commute a lot. Just kind of stretch it out. You can do this anytime. Make sure you're stretching to the sides of the spine. So as we go back and forth, we're kind of bringing the shoulders forward and back as we stretch it out. And slowly start to come all the way up. Again, just like we began, we're going to bring our hands all the way up towards the sky, stretch it out, and then we're lifting through the heart. So a little bit more kind of a subtle back bend here, okay? So focusing on the upper back this time. And slowly start to bring the hands all the way down and just recenter. So we're lowering the chin. Index fingers to our intuition. That's the area right between the brows. And just close your eyes. So what I was saying about, gratitude being the bridge to optimism and really being the bridge to kind of where we want to stay in that state of being if we're feeling really just kind of off track. It can be very helpful to start with 3 things that you're grateful for. So make it really a number that's achievable, rather than trying to list things, and overwhelm the body. So just start with 3 things, any 3 things that you're grateful for. So just kind of notice if your gratitude naturally goes to where it always goes. So there's nothing wrong with that if there's kind of certain go-tos that you have, but see if you can kind of mix it up a little bit as we move through our practice of maybe something very specific that you're grateful for, something maybe new in your life. It can be really good, especially if you've been manifesting or creating new experiences in your life that are positive, that are keeping you on the track of where you want to go. So what we're going to do is we're going to slowly bring our feet together, okay? And I want us to transition into Warrior 3 right away. So Warrior 3 is really good for finding our inner balance, okay? And it's challenging for sure. So Warrior 3, Virabhadrasana 3, we're going to start with our left. Let's go ahead and start with our left foot, okay? So this is the right brain, this is the relationship. So here, what we want to do is start to bring our right foot back, allow for that stability, okay? I always like to find my drishti at first, maybe like a foot in front. You can try a couple feet in front. Just don't make it too overwhelming where you're like, 10 or 20 feet in front. That's way too much. So way too much stimulation. We're going to start taking care of ourselves, so nourishing our spirit. Shoulders are back, okay? So I can tell here, I'm feeling a little bit unstable, and I notice there's something going on. What it is, I'm hyperextending my knee, okay? This is really, really common in Warrior 3. What you want to do is have a little micro bend in your knee that's going to give you a lot more stability, and you still keep it over the ankle. So we have our hands in prayer position. We're starting to lift off when you're ready. If you want to keep your toes down, you guys, that's just fine. It's whatever feels good for you. And slowly, so here, living in your strength, we're flexing that right foot. Okay, we're steering in our drishti, wherever our focus is. Shoulders start to move back. And then the hardest part here that I find with Warrior 3, you want to start to have your hips square, okay? So you're bringing that right hip down slightly so it's not lifting. Find your focus. You can go a little more. Lead with your intuition, the area between the brows. Trust yourself. Trust where you're headed. Trust your inner grace. Little bit more. And inhale. Slowly come up. Nice and graceful. Very nice, you guys. That's a really challenging posture. You always feel it in that glute. Wherever you're standing, you're going to feel it, kind of feel the burn a little bit. That's good. We're releasing. Get rid of anything in your subconscious. Release anything that's kind of creating anxiety in the body or anything like that. And then opposite side. So we're going to have the right foot in front, okay? Or really the right foot more stable. The left foot starts to move back. Find your anchor. Find your stability. So think of people in your life that are really your stability. This could be good friends. This could be family. This could be a significant other. Okay, so start to micro bend that knee. I'm telling you, that is the key here. Then we start to build our confidence. Think of bergamot oil. We start to lift off. Then we're leading. Think Serenity oil, the highest version of ourselves. So follow your intuition. Flexing the foot, and we're squaring those hips. Shoulders back. And just find your peace here, even though it's challenging. And slowly start to come up. So notice which side is easier or harder for you, okay? So if it was that right side, if that's easier or harder, that's your left brain, that sense of control, or the opposite side, your relationship. So just kind of reflect there. We just want to really allow that grace here. Just slowly have the feet together. We're just going to start to open up through the heart. So this is a very, very subtle detox of the body. You guys are not like overly twisting. We're just kind of letting ourselves be a little bit more airy here, a little bit more lighthearted. Just not taking ourselves too seriously. It also balanced out all the heat in our hips right now. Deep Ujjayi breath, so we're focusing more on the exhale. So think of that inner strength, that inner balance here. I want you to imagine your favorite tree, okay? If there's a favorite tree that you have, if it's a palm tree like we have out here, if it's a big oak tree, an aspen, whatever your favorite tree is, it could be a specific tree you grew up with or one in your current backyard. Just imagine your favorite tree. And this doesn't necessarily have to be your favorite type of tree. So I'm a beach girl. I love my palm trees. Okay, but it could be a specific tree that maybe spoke to you. So like I said, maybe something from childhood or even currently. And just start to imagine the details. Okay, so imagine the details of that tree, the strength, the roots, the branches, if it has leaves. If it has green, what type of color is it? Is it dark green, light green? Imagine how it stands tall. So start to then go into, is it very intricate? Is it a detailed tree? Is it something that's pretty basic? So notice all the details about it. Does it have a lot of branches? Okay, we're going to slowly move into our version of our tree posture here. So I want you to really reflect the strength of basically all through the roots, starting with your toes, okay? So widen the toes here. And then what we want to do, very nice, so we lift the big toe, and the most important thing is we're lifting kind of the baby toes as well, and widening it. So think of the roots to a tree. That's really the foundation to everything. It's like our chakras, okay, our root chakra. So we have that down. Then what we want to do is start to bend. Remember the micro bend, the balance of that. It's really important to help us balance. And then start to lift up. So here, remember we can have the toes on the inner, kind of inner arch area. Okay, so step one. So here, make sure you do tilt the tailbone a little bit. So really engage the core, belly button, the spine. Think of that yellow chakra. So we're kind of engaging the upper abdominal muscles. Hands on the hips. So we're kind of we're branching out a little bit, but we're still taking care of our roots here. Okay, so there's a lot of symbolism in tree posture. It's a beautiful posture. So here, I actually have tree posture on my yoga mat right there, right? I think that's so cool. So we basically have, that's what we're going to move into. We're going to start to branch out. So if you're feeling good here, you can start to move into the next phase. So only if you feel comfortable. Listen to your body always. This one, I always like to tell people, it's kind of like a puzzle because it really feels good. It's kind of cozy for some reason. You're not stretching too much, but you're challenging yourself a little, right? So you have your arch of your foot. It fits right there into kind of the arch, or the kind of really the calf muscle rather, okay? And then we're keeping our hands on our hips. Moving the knee out just a little bit here, tilting the tailbone. Level 3 here, or a little bit more advanced, is the inner thigh. So notice how I always skip the knee. Really important to take care of our joints. I'm going to look down so I have a focus. So widen the knee a little bit here. That's really important. So notice what you need tonight. Do you need to focus on your stability? Focus on nourishing yourself? Lifting the elbows if that's the case? Or branching out and reaching others. So I want you to really listen to where you're at tonight, not necessarily levels or really more advanced, but really what you need tonight. So your stability, okay? Nourishing yourself, nourishing your spirit, or reaching out to others, okay? If you're reaching out to others, shoulders down the spine, so you're still taking care of yourself. That's really important. And slowly, you can lift your gaze if you'd like to, and just pause. And just try to think of your optimism here. You could even give it a little smile. You might feel cheesy, but when we actually lift our lips and we actually smile, it not only increases oxygen intake in our body, but it actually helps to lift our spirit. That's why there's those studies of when we smile on the phone, right? People can hear that. So again, you might feel kind of cheesy, but we're all going to just smile and just kind of allow for that inner optimism. This can really help to allow us to not take ourselves so seriously. Beautiful, you guys. We're going to slowly come out of it. Again, that hips opening up even more. You guys are doing awesome. We're in a really nice zone right now. So just keep this kind of inner grace, keep this inner peace that we have going on right now. That's exactly the energy we want tonight. So we're going to keep our feet together, and we can move through this side just a little bit faster, knowing where you're headed, but keep in mind each side of the body is different, okay? So you may not go to the same place on this side. You may go a little bit more advanced or a little bit less. So notice where you're at. So 1, 2, or 3. Okay? And again, whatever you need tonight. So I'm going to focus here on nourishing my spirit, nourishing my body. So listen to what you need. Foundation, wide knee, tilt the tailbone, nourish, or reaching out and connecting with others. Shoulders down the spine, still nourishing yourself as you reach out. So here, see if you can close your eyes just for a second. It's going to make you want to kind of fall out of it. It's okay if you do. Again, not taking ourselves so seriously. Oh. Close your eyes, close your eyes. You guys are doing great. Yep, if you fall out of it, that's cool. Let's all try to close our eyes as long as we possibly can. So go within. I want you to think of one thing that you're grateful for as you close your eyes. So no matter what it is, you can just say a word. 1, 2, 3. If you fall out of it, it's okay. And the thing beginning I thought it was like actually pretty silly too. It's like the first thing I thought of. Awesome, guys. So then let's do it one more time. Close the eyes. Think of something else, anything in the world that you're grateful for. It's okay if you follow it. Good job, guys. Okay, we're going to do one more. So keeping our focus, okay? So keeping our focus. One more thing. So third thing we're grateful for. I want you to really mix it up. So think of something. Try to really think of something you don't really think about on a daily basis or something that doesn't come to mind right away, okay? So hands to heart center, okay? We're all going to take care of ourselves here, nourish ourselves. Think of your optimism, find your focus. Just gotta find that inner grace. Universe, God, higher self, I'm so happy and grateful for. Beautiful, you guys. Very nice. So slowly start to come out. You're going to feel that burn, baby, right? So you can always shake it out, you guys. I always like to do that, kind of release any built-up energy. So now we have the hips pretty open here, okay? So what we want to do, let's go down onto our mat here. I just want to make sure, again, that low back is really taken care of. So we're going to do a little arch here. So just moving into cat posture. This is really funny, but I literally thought of my gratitude for my cat when I fell out. I'm not kidding. Like, I thought about my cat. My cat's name was Zen, and I was like, I'm so grateful for my kitty. She's just like the epitome of unconditional love. Like, I love her so much. So anyway, whatever came to you, make sure you give gratitude for your animals, because they, you know, they're always there for us. So we have our knees below our hips, okay? We have our pinkies still at the very edge of the mat. That's very important. Okay, so here what we're going to do, we're going to move into half pigeon. So what we're going to do is have the knee, the right knee come forward. And so here, it's basically like you're moving into full pigeon posture, or king pigeon, where we're flexing the right foot. Really important for protecting the knee. Another thing is you want to have that knee in alignment with the hip, okay? Sometimes it'll come all the way to the center of the mat. Make sure we have that in alignment. We're just really protecting ourselves here. Okay, so here, we're going to keep our fingertips down, guys, okay? Shoulders back. See if it feels good just to point the toes a little bit. See how that feels? That can be sometimes intense. Okay, so see if you can point a little bit more. Very nice. So pointing those toes as far up towards the sky as you can. Shoulders are back. Just start to lift the chin. So if you want to take this a step further, we're opening through our throat chakra, our optimism, our intuition, and really our highest version of ourselves. So what we're going to do is lift the chin. Okay, so you can keep your fingertips here. This can be pretty intense. If that knee is calling out at any time, lower that foot a little bit. Okay, you want to really listen to your body here. This is all about core strength. Think of bergamot. Okay, so we're holding the belly up to the spine. If you want to, you can start to take your right arm back or one arm back. Just kind of reach it back. It's okay if it's not touching anything. This is why we prepped those back bends, by the way. We were prepping for this. Then, if you want to lift off, okay, notice we're doing a lot of balance here. You're going to look for your foot. You can reach your hands back. I'm kind of feeling a prayer here. So pressing your hands into one another, pointing your fingers to the back of the room. So the focus here is lifting the chin, doing a little back bend here. Open all through the heart as we inhale, relax the belly as we exhale. So notice what we're doing here, guys. We're balancing our inner body. We're stretching all through the roots of who we are. We're opening through our heart. I mean, we're working a lot here, okay? So it should be pretty intense. So keep moving through it. Hands together. Deep breath. And very slowly, when you're ready, so lowering your gaze, okay? Give yourself a little break there. We're bringing our left toes down, lift the knee, okay? And then just slowly start to bring the knees together. And do a little bit of an arch here. Make sure the back's okay. Very nice, you guys. All right, so opposite side, what we're going to do, so this time we're going to have the left foot come in front, okay? So again, think king pigeon here. Remember the left knee's in alignment with the hip. Flexing the foot. Your folks, great, very nice. And then here, this is where a lot of people start to like rely on their hips and they'll roll out or roll in. This posture does not really allow you to do that, which is actually good. It's forcing you to rely on your inner strength and your core strength. So we have our fingertips down, okay? Then we start to point the toes. Just to kind of get your stability here. Make sure you feel really strong. If you feel good there, if you don't feel good there, you can stay right here. You can lift up your knee a little bit. If this is feeling pretty good, point the toes. Shoulders back, lift the chin, lift the gaze. Few breaths there. If you're feeling good, you can lift one hand. Make sure you feel stable, have your focus. Prayer position and pointing the toes. I want you to visualize your vision board or the highest version of yourself. Visualize yourself living that life. We're very open here to our spirituality, to our manifesting. We're going to slowly release. So again, as graceful as possible. I realize sometimes it can't be graceful. It's a really challenging posture. So make sure you bring the knees together. Just kind of arch a little bit here. Just relax that low back. Great job, guys. Just kind of stretch it out. The hips can go left and right. You guys did awesome. We're going to move into child's posture. So really good for not only optimism, but really just kind of nourishing the body, nourishing the spirit. So we have the pinkies still to the edge. And just exhale, low in child's posture. So if you do have a vision board or anything like that, I really want you to focus on some of the more obscure details that you've put on there. So maybe not necessarily, you know, what you always think of with your ideal version of yourself, but notice some of the details that you've written down. And just slowly start to exhale as you press the shoulders back. And we're going to slowly start to come up out of child's posture here. So we're going to bring our knees completely together. Try to keep the eyes closed if possible. And start to just arch the back a little bit more. And then just let yourself sink down. So think of cow posture here, where we are keeping the knees completely together though. So we're just sinking the heart, relaxing, and we are going to keep the gaze down as well. So we're more just kind of relaxing the heart, relaxing the core of it. And slowly start to come back to neutral position. Arch back just a little bit more, just stretching. Beautifully, you guys. And then try to keep the eyes closed as well here. Just start to allow yourself to transition. So we're going to move onto our backs here. We're going to go ahead and connect our feet together. This is really good for, especially a sense of optimism, for kind of just grounding us a little bit, connecting us to kind of the bigger picture. So start to reach back. We're going to stretch our arms up above the head. Make sure you stretch all of the shoulders. And then we're going to take our hands behind the head. So again, nourishing ourselves. Just kind of cradle the head a little bit. Now, if you do choose to go back and forth like I am here, you got to be really careful of the neck, you guys. Okay, so just really make sure you're very kind of subtle with your movements. And less is more when it comes to the neck. We're going to slowly start to just sit back. We're going to keep our hands behind the head. So imagine sometimes you're like on a vacation, and if you're going to the beach, you kind of just lay out, relax under the sun, relax the heart, relax the lips. So really try to relax all through the knees, through the inner thigh, through the belly. And the only thing that matters here is just keeping those feet connected. So this is kind of like a nice deep exhale for the entire body. We're just allowing our whole body to just kind of relax and let go. Allow anything on your mind just to completely just wash away. So I want you guys just to imagine you're doing this, laying kind of on the beach. So if you're laying on the beach, it's almost like there's waves that are moving up. They're whooshing back and forth all around you. Imagine the water is that perfect temperature. It's not too cool, not too warm. It's kind of just like neutral, like a bathtub temperature. Okay, it's kind of a cool bathtub. After the bathtub's been, maybe going for 20 minutes. So just got a nice neutral temperature. It's going back and forth. And I want you to imagine that back and forth of the waves, it's mirroring your breath here. So as we inhale, as we exhale. And just imagine that that water, the waves, is neutralizing any blocks, any negative energy, any pessimism from the body. It's just completely nourishing the spirit, renewing the body, refreshing. So we're going to keep our Ujjayi breath here. Deep, slow inhales, deep, slow exhale. With every exhale, relax the hips a bit more. And just allow yourself to be held here. So just keeping the hands under the neck, under the head. And just start to let go.
Optimism is the foundation to courage. As you slowly start to come back from meditation, just kind of absorb the meaning of those simple words. Optimism is the foundation to courage. So what takes courage in your life? And where could you maybe bring in more optimism? Maybe a different perspective, maybe a kind of hopefulness. And just start to allow your heart to be more open to that. A little bit more fearless towards moving towards your goals, towards your dreams. That fearless confidence. So think of that bergamot, that confidence. We're going to start to deepen our inhale and just start to come back into our bodies here as we start to stretch our arms up, start to point the toes, whatever feels good for you. And start to get the energy moving around a little bit. And when you're ready, we're going to take a nice deep exhale and roll onto our right arm, onto our right side. And tonight we're going to place our left hand just kind of right above the intuition, kind of about the forehead, between the brow area. And just connect there, and we're going to go ahead and move into our gratitude for our intention before it's arrived. So this is really big with manifesting. So again, universe, God, higher self, I'm so happy and grateful for, and fill in your intention before it's arrived. You can also just visualize where you're headed. Beautiful. And on your next inhale, very slowly press yourself back up to comfortable seated position. Remember that left foot is in top. It could be on top or it could also be in front. Either way, whatever's most comfortable for you. And we're just going to slowly start to bring the neck back and forth, so left and right, and then forward and back. This is going to help with any type of communication that you need to have or expressing yourself. And then slowly bring the hands completely closed here, so back to heart center. And then allowing for that optimism, we're going to expand the hands just a little bit, so as wide as you'd like to here. Whatever feels right. So just finding your inner light. And you can just kind of let it move a little bit here, moving the hands back and forth. They're not quite touching though. So flowing like the waves of that ocean in our meditation. Beautiful pause as you expand the light. Start to just align your chakras here, so very subtly tilt the tailbone, shoulders back. Just trusting that you're exactly where you should be, that you're on your right path with wherever you're at in your life in this moment. That this is the path for the highest version of who you are and making the biggest difference or the positive difference in other people's life. So really trust that. I'm truly so happy and grateful that you could all be here this evening to connect really your mind, body, and spirit, to center yourself or recenter yourself, and to really connect to that spark inside of all of us that keeps us optimistic, that keeps us positive. This is really the whole purpose of being alive, is feeling those feelings of inner happiness, or that inner bliss. So see what you can do, who you can surround yourself with to really keep these feelings alive. The divine in me recognizes the divine and light in each one of you. And where these lights meet, we say, Namaste. Namaste. Just be aware that we definitely worked the back, worked the hips a lot tonight, so just be really kind of back to nourishing ourselves. Really make sure that you're nourishing your low back, your up back, your hips. I would definitely use these 2 oils on the bottom of your feet tonight, so if you have them, bergamot for self-confidence and for courage, and then also that serenity, that sandalwood for optimism. But what I would also say in addition to that is for any back issues or back pain, or just if you're a little sore from class, deep blue rub, baby. Deep blue rub all the way, that is like the best, or deep blue rollerball or oil or whatever you have, but deep blue rub is one of my faves. And just rub that all over the low back. So I hope that felt great, and thank you so much, you guys. Namaste. Until next time.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching today's True Beauty Quick Tip. If you like what you see and for more confidence building tips on how to be a beauty from the inside out, remember to subscribe to our channel and connect with us at trubeautymovement.com. That's TRU without the E, Beauty Movement. Love you guys. Until next time, remember, be balanced, be true, and proud to be you.